In a bustling city, an ordinary man is about to do something extraordinary. John Thompson, a bus driver for decades, faces the most challenging day of his career. A lost child, a relentless storm, an furious boss, and a choice that defies all rules. What happens when compassion collides with duty? When an act of kindness threatens to destroy everything you've worked for? But what if that same act was the key to an incredible transformation? Discover how a moment of courage triggers a chain reaction, not only transforming one life but revolutionizing an entire city. This story will stir your emotions, challenge your perceptions, and above all, make you wonder, what would I do in his place? It's not just a narrative. It's a call to action. A powerful reminder that each of us carries the potential to change the world, one act of kindness at a time. Prepare yourself for an emotional roller coaster that will make you laugh, cry, and perhaps find the spark of inspiration to be the catalyst for change in your own community. This story is making thousands rethink their lives and daily choices. Will you be next? Watch until the end to discover how to apply John's lessons to your routine and start a wave of positivity around you. The journey of transformation begins now. Are you ready to be part of this kindness revolution? Press play. Your perspective on life is about to change forever. But before telling this inspiring story, I want to extend a special invitation to you. Subscribe now to the channel and hit the bell to receive notifications. This is very important for the channel's growth and will ensure you're notified about new videos. And now that you've subscribed to the channel, I want to give you a very special tip. Have you ever thought about earning income from your home in dollars? Click the link in the description and see how you can do this. Now, let's get to today's video. Hello, you on the other side of the screen. Today I'm going to share with you a story that will touch your heart and, who knows, change your perspective on the power of a simple act of kindness. So, make yourself comfortable, grab your favorite drink, and let's dive into this inspiring narrative that promises to awaken deep emotions and reflections. In a bustling city, where the noise of cars and the frantic coming and going of people created an urban symphony that wasn't always harmonious, lived John Thompson, a 52-year-old man. John had been a bus driver for over 20 years, but the sparkle in his brown eyes and the easy smile that once characterized him had been lost over time, like leaves carried away by the autumn wind. Every morning, John woke up before sunrise in his small suburban apartment. Strong, bitter coffee was his only company as he prepared for another day of work. Looking at himself in the stained bathroom mirror, he barely recognized the man staring back at him. "Well, John," he muttered to himself, "another day, another battle." Years of exhausting routine, grumpy passengers, and chaotic traffic had left their marks not only on his soul but also on his face, now marked by deep wrinkles that told stories of stress and sleepless nights. John's personal life wasn't much different from the chaos he faced on the streets. Divorced for 7 years, he barely saw his teenage son, Lucas, who was 16. The bi-weekly visits had become monthly, then bi-monthly, until they turned into rare encounters on commemorative dates. A pile of bills accumulated on the kitchen table, constantly reminding him of his financial difficulties. The overdue rent was a worry that kept him awake many nights. Have you ever felt like this? As if life was carrying you instead of you driving it? On a particularly rainy Wednesday, John started his shift as usual. The sky was so gray it seemed like night had decided to stay a little longer. The bus was crowded, the passengers more impatient than normal due to the bad weather. "Can't you drive any faster?" shouted a man in a suit from the back of the bus. John took a deep breath before responding. "I'm going at the speed limit, sir. Safety first." Nothing new under the gray sky of the metropolis, John thought. But fate had other plans for that seemingly ordinary day. At a stop near the city center, something unusual happened. A little girl of about 8 years old, with curly hair soaked by the rain and eyes wide with fear, desperately waved at the bus. Her colorful clothes were completely drenched, clinging to her small, trembling body. John hesitated. This wasn't an official stop, and stopping here could result in a warning. His supervisor, Mr. Sanders, had already reprimanded him several times for unnecessary kindnesses, as he called them. But something in the girl's look reminded him of his own son. What if it were Lucas out there, alone and scared. With a resigned sigh, he stopped the bus. "Hey, little one, where are your parents?" John asked as he helped the little girl up. Her icy little hands clung to John's calloused hand as if it were a lifeline. Between sobs, she replied, "I got lost. I don't know how to get home. My name is Sophie." "It's okay, Sophie," John tried to calm her, his voice softer than it had been in years. "We're going to help you find your parents, okay?" A murmur of discontent ran through the bus. John could hear the passengers grumbling. "We're already late. This isn't a mobile daycare." John turned to the passengers, a renewed determination in his eyes. "Folks, I ask for a little patience. This girl needs help, and we can't simply ignore her." To his surprise, an elderly lady in the front seat spoke up. "The driver is right. We can't abandon a child in the rain." Gradually, the mood on the bus began to change. A young student offered a tissue to dry Sophie's face. A middle-aged gentleman gave up his seat so the girl could sit down. John knew he should follow his route, but he couldn't simply abandon the child. He did something that went against all the rules. He deviated from the path to take the girl to the nearest police station. "Attention, everyone," he announced over the bus's loudspeaker. "We're going to make a small detour to take this child to safety. I apologize for the inconvenience and thank you all for your understanding." To his surprise, instead of more complaints, he heard some timid applause. During the journey, John talked to Sophie through the rearview mirror, trying to keep her calm. "So, Sophie, what's your favorite color?" "Purple," she replied shyly. "Purple? That's cool. Did you know that purple used to be the color of royalty?" Sophie's face lit up a bit with this information, and John felt something he hadn't felt in a long time, the satisfaction of making someone smile. Upon arriving at the police station, John was greeted not only by the officers but also by his supervisor, Mr. Sanders, who had been alerted about the route deviation. His face was red with anger, his furrowed eyebrows forming a single line above his furious eyes. "Thompson," thundered Mr. Sanders, "you know this is grounds for dismissal, don't you? Deviating from the route, delaying the entire line. What were you thinking?" John swallowed hard but stood firm. "Yes, sir, I know. But I couldn't leave this child alone on the street. Look at her, she's scared and lost. What would you do if it were your daughter?" Mr. Sanders opened his mouth to respond but was interrupted by a commotion at the entrance of the police station. A man rushed in, his expensive suit soaked by the rain, his face a mask of concern. It was none other than the city mayor, Robert Anderson. "Sophie," he shouted, running towards the girl. "Daddy!" Sophie ran into her father's arms, her tears now of relief and happiness. The relief at seeing the little girl safe and sound was palpable. When he learned of the story, the mayor was deeply touched by John's attitude. Turning to Mr. Sanders, the mayor declared, "This man cannot be punished for an act of kindness. In fact, he should be rewarded for his compassion and courage." The supervisor, now visibly embarrassed, stammered, "Well, of course, Mr. Mayor. We were just, discussing standard procedures." But the mayor wasn't finished. Looking directly at John, he continued, "Mr. Thompson, I'd like to offer you an opportunity. We're implementing a new school transportation program in the city, and we need someone with your experience and, more importantly, with your heart, to lead the project. What do you say?" John was speechless for a moment, his mind trying to process the incredible turnaround his life had just taken. I would be honored, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for the opportunity." In the days that followed, John's life changed dramatically. The new job not only improved his financial situation, allowing him to finally catch up on bills, but also gave him a new purpose. He became a mentor to young drivers, sharing not only his technical skills but also teaching about the importance of empathy and compassion in the workplace. Remember, he would say to the new recruits, "You're not just driving a bus. You're transporting lives, dreams, and hopes. Every passenger has a story, and sometimes a small act of kindness can make all the difference in someone's day." With his new perspective on life, John also managed to reconnect with his son, Lucas. On a Saturday afternoon, they met in a city park. "Dad," said Lucas, a shy smile on his face, "I heard about what you did. That girl, it was very brave." John felt his heart warm. Thank you, son. You know, it made me realize how much time we've lost. How about we start over? We can see each other more often. Maybe you can even help me with some ideas for the new school transportation program. Lucas's smile widened. I'd love that, Dad. Years passed. John, now respected throughout the city, looked out the window of his office, watching the school buses departing on their morning routes. The vibrant colors of the vehicles contrasted with the gray of the asphalt, like a cheerful reminder of how much his life had changed. He smiled, remembering that rainy Wednesday that changed his life. A simple decision to help someone in need had triggered a series of events that not only transformed his own life but positively impacted the entire community. At that moment, Sophie, now a teenager, passed by his office. She had become a kind of junior assistant in the program during school holidays. "Good morning, Mr. Thompson," she greeted cheerfully. "Ready for another day of adventures?" John laughed. "Always, Sophie, always." John learned that sometimes you need to go off the planned route to find the true path, and that an act of kindness, no matter how small it may seem, can have repercussions far beyond what we can imagine. And you, what did you think of this story? Have you ever stopped to think about how a small gesture of kindness can change not only your life but the lives of others as well? Remember, never underestimate the power of a good deed. Sometimes, doing the right thing may seem risky, but the results can be surprisingly positive. This story teaches us that compassion and empathy can open unexpected doors. That it's never too late to change your life and find a new purpose. That small acts of kindness can have a big impact on others' lives and our own. So, the next time you find yourself in a situation where you can help someone, even if it means stepping a little out of your comfort zone, remember John. You never know how this simple act can transform not only the life of the person you're helping but also your own. Think about it. How many opportunities to make a difference do we pass by daily without realizing it? How many lives could we touch with a simple gesture of kindness? John's story shows us that sometimes all we need is the courage to take the first step. And don't forget, change isn't always instantaneous. For John, it was a process. He had to face his fears, his doubts, and even the possibility of losing his job. But he persisted, and that persistence led him to a future he could never have imagined. You too can be that change in the world. You can be that person who makes a difference in someone's life. It doesn't have to be something grand. Sometimes, a smile, a kind word, or simply being present for someone in need is enough. So, what are you going to do today to spread a little more kindness in the world? How can you be the John in someone's life? Remember, every act of kindness, no matter how small, creates waves of positivity that spread far beyond what we can see. Thank you for listening to this story. I hope it has touched your heart and inspired you to spread more kindness in the world. Who knows, maybe the next great story of transformation and hope will be yours. Until next time, and don't forget, be the change you want to see in the world.